そしてあなたはこの世のあらゆる物質を柔らかくすることができる。柔らかいということはダイヤモンドよりも壊れない。
Run that by me again?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Wind Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. Got my co-host, Ryan, with me.
Hello.
A little late, but better late than never. So let's talk about episode 25, Spice Girl.
It's like, no, not Spicy Lady, as catchy of a name as that may be. No, it's Spice Girl.
Alrighty, so yeah, pretty much another beat for beat episode, nothing really added or changed or whatever, so, pretty much we're just gonna gush about Spice Girl at this point because, don't get me wrong, she had a hell of an introduction in the manga, but goddamn did the anime give her justice.
It really did.
Yeah, that's like, for one thing, I noticed immediately, before Spice Girl was even introduced, for those of you who have read the manga, I'm sure we were kind of expecting or even dreading, the moments of, Notorious B.I.G. actually getting a hold of Trish before Spice Girl, makes her presence truly known. Because if you remember in the manga, it was, quite graphic. It literally looked like Trish is about to be tentacle raped by Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, we're gonna get hentai all up in this JoJo business.
Yeah, so that's where it's just like, oh man, Rocky, are we really going here? And then it's like, oh no, we're pleasantly not. But so I think this is something that maybe a lot of us, we were like, I guess maybe kind of dreading or something, or just being like, okay, how is David Production going to handle that? And yeah, they toned it down a lot. Yes, the poses are still the same, but it's not like they didn't focus on it or anything. So if any of you were expecting some really weird Trish porn shit going on in this episode, you're gonna be disappointed because it's not here.
Yeah, really. It's like, what was it? This actually goes back to, how David Productions handled, the first encounter with Babyface. Where it's like, yeah, you would think that seeing as how this is the anime adaptation of this very famous part that is Golden Wind, you would think they would have gone the extra mile and get a little bit more graphic with it. But no, they decided to not take that risk and stay true to how that scene initially happened in the manga, where we just got the shot of the woman, up against the window. It cracks a little bit, and then that's it. We don't get anything else. So yeah, it's like, no, I'm glad to see that they pretty much did the exact same thing here. Because it's like, yeah, the manga was a bit graphic, but it's like, yeah, I don't think David Production would want to take that risk.
Yeah, because it's like, yes, we know Trish was going to be fine even in the manga. It's not like, Notorious B.I.G. was out to rape her or anything, but still, the imagery's kind of hard to forget. It's like, if you just showed someone the manga panels without any context of what's going on, you would think that they're reading some really weird hentai doujinshi or something. And, that's where it's like, yeah, so I'm glad to see that David Production did not take that approach. So it's like, good for you.
Yeah, even without, the over-exaggerated graphic content from that one scene below, in the manga or whatever, it's like, they still got the point across that Trish was just on the verge of being in danger when Notorious B.I.G. was supposedly trying to grab a hold of Trish in general, when in actuality she was just, Notorious B.I.G. was just getting at her boot and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, so, so that was that. That was nice. And then we get Spice Girl's introduction. And now I remembered in the manga, again, going by the color scans, if you remember, Ryan, Spice Girl was very much all pink. Her entire color scheme was kind of like a pastel pink, maybe a couple of maybe darker shades here and there, but very, very pink. Here it's, the pink is still prevalent, but there's bright pink, there's pastel pink, there's a little bit of white in there, you got the green in her eyes. So, I mean, it's like, she's definitely a lot more vibrant this time around, and I gotta say, I definitely prefer the anime colors.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, because she definitely stands out a lot more. And I know you pointed this out. There was a moment where, just with the lighting, the lighting was, really dynamic. They were playing around with the shadows, and, her eyes were glowing like a bright green. That's where it was hot damn. I mean, it was gorgeous to look at, but she was also, really imposing and threatening. So it's god damn, man, don't fuck with Spice Girl.
Yeah, really. It's like her introduction in the manga was one thing, but if you watch the episode, it's as Danny pretty much described it, it's just on how David Productions handled the lighting and how on various occasions it's she was either shrouded in darkness, just how it was when we first saw a glimpse of Spice Girl, to later on where we get another really good shot of Spice Girl as she's trying to explain to Trish that this is her ability, this is what she can do, and Trish is maturing because of what's happening at that very moment. But yeah, it's the lights hitting right at the back of her head, her front is still shrouded in shadows, and the one thing that stands out is just her glowing green eyes. It's again, her introduction in the manga was one thing, but you see freaking Spice Girl in this episode, it's my god, I was starting to question, am I right to assume this is still a good guy? Because my god, it seems like Spice Girl is about to kill me. Because of how intimidating they made Spice Girl look. It's just that badass.
Yeah, it's again, the dialogue is all the same from the manga, but it's between how David Production chose to animate her with the lighting and everything, it was oh yeah, they made Spice Girl look very threatening. And not for nothing, not for nothing she is. Because if you actually even remember, with her stand stats, just her power level alone, because you would think the ability to turn things, elastic and soft, it's okay, this is probably going to be somebody who's going to be very weak in terms of power, and her strength is going to come from her ability. But no, her her actual strength rank is A. It's the same rank as fucking Sticky Fingers. So Spice Girl can punch as hard as Bruno. Let that fucking sink in for a minute there, okay?
Yeah, this is one stand that you don't want to mess with.
I mean, for fuck's sake, she punched a plane in two, but that's way later. We're jumping way ahead. So it's but it's as far as the elastic ability, I definitely I like the plastic effect that they're doing with it.
I think it's I don't know if they got into that much detail in the manga, because again, it's been that long since we read the manga together. But it's no, I liked how fluid and smooth the animation was. When David Productions over exaggerated all of the elastic animations with how Spice Girl was making everything soft, the plane seats, for instance.
Yeah. Well, that's because, in the manga, yes, you were seeing things becoming elastic and flexible, but they didn't have a plastic shine to it or anything. So that's where, a nice touch from David Production. So yeah, the plane seat, the clock when they were in the closet, anything that got hit with the softening ability, yeah, it looked it was literally made of plastic.
Yeah, it really did. It's especially when it's what was it? When we saw like the first instance with the seat, you know, like stretching out as Notorious B.I.G. was trying to grab hold of Trish, but it didn't just end there. It just ended up like it just kept like flowing around like into like a massive blob or something. It's like, oh yeah, the extra shine on that very soft seat really stood out there as well, like especially at that point.
Yeah. And again, like, you know, think back to the strength behind Spice Girl. Because it's like, yeah, like what we saw with the seat. You know, yes, she can soften things and she can easily slip through. But as soon as that ability turns off, it immediately goes right back to its original state. So that was where we saw, like, literally, Notorious B.I.G. lost an arm because the seat literally flung him back so goddamn hard that it ripped his arm off and flung him into the goddamn wall.
And even after all of that, you know, we got a shot of a Notorious B.I.G. bleeding out from that spot where he lost his arm. Still never bled out, surprisingly.
That's like, that little bastard had a lot of blood in him. But it's like,
for a little tiny body, he had like so much blood in him. It's like, how?
Well, just that scene in the closet when Spice Girl is literally ripping him apart with that pole. I mean, it's like, you're literally seeing her grind this thing into the ground, and all the blood is literally gushing out the end of the pipe.
God, you know. I can't believe I've gone to the point where I was trying to question logic in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. God damn it.
It's like, you cannot question logic. Not yet.
It's like, oh, how exactly can that one little bastard, that being Notorious B.I.G., not bleed out, which is a little body? No, it just works.
Yeah.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, yes. And then we get, like, you know, okay, after she grinds this thing, you know, we think it's dead, but then, of course, we find out it's not, because, like, those little bits that were still left over, it managed to find the engine, you know, that was behind the frickin' closet, and it's like, ooh, energy, and next thing you know, cute little Hellspawn becomes, like, this, like, frickin' demon wall thing. So it's like, it's literally eating the plane into pieces. And this is when, like, you know, because, granted, up until this point, really, a lot of this was Spice Girl being badass. Then this is Trish being badass, was when, you know, she pretty much takes over the entire situation. Like, you know, Bruno's telling her, you know, move slowly, just come to me. Like, I really don't know what his plan would be. I mean, it's like, this thing is eating the plane. What hope do you have? It's like, Bruno, I love you and all, but what exactly was your plan here? Like, just jump out and hope for the best?
You know, speaking of Notorious B.I.G. Trying to eat the plane, you know, okay, I gotta ask you this, because now I'm curious. Like, did you ever, like, watch Toonami, or ran into, like, snippets of Toonami, like back in the early years, you know, before it got initially canceled? Like back in, like, the late 90s and such?
Like when they were airing, like, Sailor Moon, Gundam Wing, you know, like... Like the first snippets of anime that was showing up on the goddamn network.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that Toonami. I grew up on that Toonami.
It's like, do you remember, like, do you know about, like, the little mini-series that would happen, like, in between, like, shows or whatever? That involved, like, Tom and, like, her and his, like, a computer AI or whatever.
Vaguely, it's been a very long time.
Cause it's like, I see Notorious B.I.G. in action. You know, it's like they try to kill him. Turns out it backfires and he ends up being like this massive blob and tries to eat the plane. It reminds me of this mini-series on Toonami called Intruder, where I think it was like the first ever Tom to, you know, make it like a show up in Toonami or whatever. He tries to stop this thing, like whatever this monstrosity is or whatever. He thinks it's all said and done, but this thing comes back as this massive blob, and slowly starts eating the ship, including Tom number 1, which will eventually lead to Tom number 2 or whatever. And I don't know, it's funny enough, I got some major vibes from that Intruder miniseries, if only because it's like Notorious B.I.G. got the exact same treatment as this thing that happened during that Toonami miniseries.
Huh.
It's like it's something very obscure. Like, I'm sure not many people know exactly what the hell I'm talking about, but it was just something so random and obscure that crossed my mind. I'm just like, huh, you know what? That's actually pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to see if maybe that's like on YouTube or something. Like
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember running into.
I have to check that out later.
Yeah. It's like for those curious, what was it? A shout out to username Caboose Jr. He's very well known for uploading like various like Toonami bumpers or other clips, including a lot of the miniseries, especially from like the early days of Toonami.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
But yeah, just thought I'd bring that out as a little something random yet very interesting that crossed my mind as I was initially watching the scene. But anyway, in which case, back to the actual episode. Don't fuck
Ooh,
this,
nice
I'm running! Dang, green hair. I'm getting a Foo Fighters vibe right now with the green. Oh shit, we actually have Blue Chelati! Blue Chelati? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what the fans call his colors came from Eyes of Heaven, because they gave him the blue suit by default. So he's called Blue Chelati.
Still waiting for Blue Giorno. Yeah.
Nice!
Very, very nice.
I love that cry. I was like, seriously, why do we not have battle cries that like actually like reflect the music like this more often?
I know.
Yeah, we got another
Oh,
Artie!
and we got another Artie in there. Oh God, yes. No.
God damn it, Spice Girl!
Yes.
That was great. That was fucking great. You didn't say the magic word.
God damn it! I hate this. I hate this crap. Oh my God!
Yes. Took a page from Bruno on that one. Alrighty, so then I know the one thing I know I commented on it when we were watching it. So that moment when when Trish decides she's gonna take matters into her own hands, where Bruno is telling her just come to me slowly, and instead she runs, and this is when she brings out Spice Girl in front of Bruno and Abacchio. I just gotta say, you anime only watchers are definitely not gonna know what the hell I'm talking about here, because I am talking about part 6 here. But for those of you who've read the manga, please tell me I'm not the only one that with this color scheme I was getting Foo Fighter vibes. And I'm definitely not going to complain there, because Foo Fighters is not only my favorite character from Stone Ocean, she's actually my favorite female character, period. I love Foo Fighters even more than I love Trish. So it's like, to see Trish with the green hair and the blue and green color scheme, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting Foo Fighters vibes all up in here. I am loving this.
I remember you initially bringing that up as we were watching the scene, and I'm not gonna lie, I honestly completely forgot that Foo Fighters was like a thing that occurred like later on during the JoJo series. So now you bring it up here, I'm like, Oh, right. Foo Fighters was a thing in JoJo, wasn't it?
Well, Foo Fighters, like, because I know, Ryan, you know, whatever experience you've got with later parts mostly come from the games. Foo Fighters, tragically, is not a playable fighter.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
like,
you're right.
Yeah, so it's like, she's like one of, like, the many, like, little, like side characters. Like, I know, like, what is it, in Eyes of Heaven, where you can give, like, your characters, like, random little stat buffs or something, and it's usually, like, from some other minor character that is, you know, throughout the series. Foo Fighters is one of those. I think she's actually maybe one of the first ones that you get if you play through, like, story mode or something. Yeah, tragically, she's not her own fighter. She really should be.
Yeah,
but,
thinking about it now, honestly, I think the only, like, legitimate experience that I've had, you know, when it comes to knowing a thing or two about Foo Fighters was just seeing her on this t-shirt that I bought from Rice Pirate at Shark Robot. And it had, like, and it shows, like, the first thing you see is, like, it shows, like, a picture of, like, Johnny, Mista, and Foo Fighters, because, you know, it was a shirt about a good chunk of the gunslinging JoJo characters.
no Whole Horse?
No Whole Horse.
Because no one cares about Whole Horse. It's like,
God.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, there's better sharpshooters than a fucking Whole Horse.
Yeah, it's like, no, I think it's safe to say, like, Mista is definitely a much better freaking sharpshooter than Whole Horse will ever be.
He is the freaking sharpshooter. I'm sorry. Johnny Joestar's pretty damn good, but I'm sorry, he's no Guido Mista.
It's like no, seriously, the only way Whole Horse could be a really good sharpshooter per se is if he had freaking not Man in the Mirror. Shit. Oh God. Okay. Crap. Help me out here. What was it? What was that other mirror guy's name? I'm sorry.
What you call it? Oh God. What the? I know exactly what you're talking about. The one from Stardust Crusaders.
Yes.
Yeah, the reflecting guy. Son of a bitch. I am having such a brain fart right now.
Oh God damn it!
And it's such a shame because I love that fight. Why the fuck am I forgetting it now? And part 3 is, as of right now, like, still my favorite part, and even I don't remember that. God damn it! I am a disgrace to the JoJo community. I'm sorry. I will add it in post.
But you get what I mean. It's like if Whole Horse wants to be a sharpshooter, he would need that guy, and we all know that without that mirror guy, Whole Horse is screwed.
Right. But anyway, enough about Whole Horse. Back to Trish.
Yes.
So colors give me side. So then we get to hear Spice Girls stand cry. By far the most unique stand cry in all of JoJo. Like, even after part 5, it's like, I love, the adi and the vola vola vola, because that's just Italian. That's talking. It's like, yeah, Bruno's literally like telling somebody goodbye before he kills them, and Narancia is, going fly away, which makes sense for Aerosmith. But it's like, yeah, Spice Girls screams out "wannabe." That's fucking brilliant.
It really is. Now it's like, for those who aren't like completely familiar with how like the battle cry is handled, like what Danny just briefly brought up, it's like when it comes to like stand battle cries, usually we would hear like a stand would just shout out one word and just say it like really really fast, like case in point, Gold Experience with buda 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 buda, or Sticky Fingers with adi 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 adi, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, with Spice Girl, she does not say wanna be, like, and she yells it out like really really fast. She yells it, but it's more drawn out. So we see Trish's we see Spice Girl in action as she's trying to beat down the door to make it soft. And she yells at the cry, and again, she makes it all drawn out, like she holds it out or whatever. It's
yeah.
What am I trying to say? It's like she yells it out like "wanna be."
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, I just love the fact that, somehow you managed to make that work. Like, I would love to see, like, more stands, like, if they had battle cries actually reference the music that they're, named after. I would love for more stands to do that. And it's like, we got the reference, Spice Girl and Wannabe, but it's like somehow you actually managed to make that work for a battle cry. And it's like, that's JoJo for you.
Yeah, it works really, really, really well. And I say that because it's like, again, all right, when it comes to Spice Girl, it's like, again, this is coming from a guy whose first experience with Spice Girl was, of course, from the video games, whether it be I would run into her in All-Star Battle or Eyes of Heaven. And yeah, the way that the voice actor for Trish in the video games basically like handled like the direction for that battle cry, like pretty much in a similar way as how the voice actress for Trish did in the anime adaptation. The only difference is like with the anime adaptation version, it was at a bit of a lower pitch, to make it fit more of the voice that we've been hearing come out of Trish all this time. But even then, it's like I still loved how she handled that. It still sounded glorious. It was awesome.
Yeah, because it's like in the game, she did. It's like, in the game she was like screaming it like off the top of her lungs. Like you could definitely hear the high pitch when she was screaming "Wannabe" in the games.
Yeah. You could tell the pitch was much higher in that case. It's like you watch, like, you either play the game or like just freaking watch a YouTube clip and you'll hear her say "Wannabe."
Yeah, it gets like really high pitches where it's like, oh my god, you had to have blown your throat out from doing that battle cry.
Yeah. No, I could honestly see that, really.
I also love that little bit where Bruno, he's like, he sees that a little bit of Notorious B.I.G. is on Abakio's head. He does, another, adi punch, to get it onto him. And I love how right before Spice Girl, cuts his arm off to, get that thing, completely out of the parachute and into the water. I love that little motion where she does like a little tisk motion with waving her finger.
You didn't say the magic word.
It's like, god damn it, Spice Girl. It's like, we loved you before because you were being badass. It's like, now you're like bringing Garnet levels of sass into this. I love it.
It's like, oh no, it's not just that. It's like Trish was bringing in some Polnareff sass with that little finger wave. It's like, I see Spice Girl like shaking her finger like that, and I'm just waiting for Spice Girl to just flat out just yell out, "Non, non, 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 non."
That's right. Yeah, Polnareff did do that. Well, yeah, in Japanese, in the English dub, they actually was pulling out the French for that one.
Crossfire! Hurricane! Menon. Have you learned nothing at all today? You're a fool whose attacks will not work on my stand. Now give up!
And so then we see Notorious B.I.G. It now roams the oceans, just mindlessly chasing waves, occasionally going after boats. And it's like, it's basically become the fucking Kraken.
Yeah, really.
It's like when you're watching Pirates of the Caribbean, it's not the Kraken that at the end of the second movie, it's not the Kraken that nearly took down Captain Jack Sparrow. It was Notorious B.I.G.
Oh god, yes. Prepare to summon the B.I.G. No! Oh god damn it.
Yes. And then the episode ends with a brief little scene that, quite frankly, I even forgot. about that, this was a scene that happened in the manga. So, like, when it first happened, I was like, wait, is this something new? But I was like, oh, wait, shit, this isn't new. This did happen in the manga. I completely forgot about it. And it was like, it was a very brief little scene where we see the boss. He realizes that, in the house or, like, the apartment where Trish and her mom lived, that Trish had a photo of her mother that was taken when her mother was, in a romance with the boss. And the photo has a date on it. And the boss is freaking the fuck out because he's like, oh my God, if they manage to get a hold of this picture and they see the date, it's not gonna be difficult for Abakio's Moody Blues to easily trace that, and and pretty much they're gonna be like, yep, the boss took this photo, so Moody Blues, go rewind to that point, and yeah, he can easily discover who the boss is. So yeah, this is where the boss is like, I have no choice. Something like this serious and this intimate, I cannot leave this in the hands of my subordinates. I have to handle this myself. And then we see the housekeeper. She knocks on the door. She comes in and she's like, oh, I didn't realize you were here. And then he just literally King Crimsoned his way out of the room. And like, I guess maybe he threw everything out the fucking window or something. Because I mean, that room was fucking spotless.
The moment he cut, he stopped time before cutting it away or whatever. He opens the window, and yeah, no, I can imagine he quickly was like, she just threw everything out the window just to pick it up when time resumes.
Well, he already wrecked the laptop, so it's like, so I mean, that's no big deal and everything. Who gives a shit? It's a busted laptop. But I mean, if you remember, he's got like all these like photos and shit littered on the wall. Like, he's got a fucking Bruno poster on his wall. I don't blame you for having a Bruno poster on your wall. I would love to have a Bruno poster on my wall, but how the fuck do you get rid of that so easily?
Yeah, it's like, clearly the boss, but admires Bruno so much that he himself is secretly a Bruno fan. It's like, look, I know this man tried to kill me, but god damn it, do I respect this bastard.
At least I fisted him.
No, God!
Good night, everybody!
Oh, shit.
But anywho's, so, alright, so that pretty much, knocked out this week's episode, which now brings us to next week.
I'm your dream, make you real. I'm your eyes when you are still. I'm your pain when you can't feel. Sad but true. I'm your dream, mind astray. I'm your eyes while you're away. I'm your pain while you repay. You know it's sad but true.
Okay. You guys have heard me say several times throughout, the run of this Geek Out that there has been one fight that I am very, very concerned about when it comes to censorship. That's the next fight. And it's one of those things I would like to think that it's not going to be censored because there have been a lot of gory moments that haven't been censored. But then David Productions comes and surprises us, like, what is it with, Babyface. Like, there was that scene where, like, Giorno, where he's, like, discovering that he can use his gold experience ability to, basically create, body parts. It's where he's learning to heal himself. And there's a moment where you see, like, his foot is starting to heal. And that was censored. So it's like, why? So that's where it's like, there's still a couple of moments here and there that they still feel the need to censor. And trust me, guys, you anime-only watchers, you're not fucking ready for this fight. I mean, nothing I can say can prepare you for how grisly this next fight is.
Yeah, it's like, alright, look, yeah, I know David Productions have, for some reason, they've gone the distance and censored out just a little tiny gash on freaking Giorno's foot, or whatever, but it's like, I swear to God, if I see, like this entire fight completely censored from top to bottom, my God, I'm gonna be disappointed. Now, I know they've done a really good job with keeping a lot of other things pretty much uncensored, but it's like, considering that there's a bunch of stuff that goes on in this next fight or whatever, it's like, if they were to censor all of this, it'll pretty much lose all of its impact, I think. I'll bet you anything.
Exactly.
If they censor, like, all the stuff that happens with this next fight coming up, it just won't feel the same, really.
Exactly. And, like, you know, because I even mentioned this, like, way back, like, you know, when this was first announced, and I did that quick little video where, you know, I voiced, you know, some of my concerns. And, you know, one of my biggest concerns was, how was this fight going to be handled? Because, you know, this is another major fan favorite fight. It's a great fight, but it is hands down the most grisly fight in all of JoJo. Like, even after this part, no other fight really tops this next one in terms of gore. And it's like, again, I can't really explain why without spoiling too much, but it's like, you know, the gore is absolutely necessary here. This is actually a fight where I will actually say that, yeah, the excessive violence is necessary for this one fight. And yeah, if it gets heavily censored, you're not going to get the same impact like you would, like, if you were reading the manga. So this is the one where I'm really concerned and curious as to how it's going to be handled, because if it does end up being censored very heavily, then we're going to have to wait for a Blu-ray release to see it in its intended glory. And that's going to take a very long time. Let alone a very long time for it to come out on Blu-ray and then come over our way.
Yeah, you know, when they finally come around to providing the English dub for Part 5.
Yeah, and that's going to be years from now. So that's just where, yeah, it's like, you know, I've got some high hopes, but, you know, again, it's like, I don't want to set my hopes up too damn high, because it's like, you know, we've been able to get away with a lot. But they still show time and again moments that I guess they just thought, oh, a little too gruesome to put on TV. And it's like, oh, God, what are you going to do here with the Metallica fight?
Man.
Now, I'm thinking with next week, this is going to be one of those episodes where, because before we even get to that fight, we got to introduce another character into this. And, you know, so we got to get the character's introduction and we got to get all this set up. And I think that's pretty much what it's going to be like. I would not be surprised if next week's episode ends with the setup for this fight. Like, I'm not expecting the Metallica fight to really begin for another 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah, I can honestly see that, really.
But yeah, so it's like, you know, so we got all that set up next week. We got our next character who's going to be showing up, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to see him. I love this character.
I cannot wait to see this lovable character as well.
Oh, so many people I know cannot wait to see, you know, to actually, like, really see this character outside of the freaking opening.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so, you know, so we got a lot to look forward to next week. And oh, actually, before we even close this out, so we did make the prediction as far as the Modern Crusaders ending. we pretty much, I think everybody pretty much called it where, you know, this is going to be one of those endings that, you know, they're going to add to it as we meet more stand users, pretty much like the I Want You ending with Diamond is Unbreakable. And sure enough, we got it. So we see Notorious B.I.G. He is on the pillar now, like right above Talking Head. And then Spice Girl is on the pillar. I initially predicted that Spice Girl was probably going to be placed to Gold Experience's left, you know, opposite of the Sex Pistols. And not exactly. Spice Girl is like, you know, directly underneath Gold Experience, but she's actually like caught like in the arms of King Crimson, and you see like the pistols, like you see like some of them are trying to grab her. They're like, you know, it's basically looking like, you know, hey, get off of her and shit. So I was like, I totally get what that's referencing. I am not going to say because we're still, you know, kind of far away from getting there, but I totally get what that pose is referencing. So it's like, you know, okay, so we got Notorious B.I.G. and we got Spice Girl on the pillar. So at least, okay, now we know, you know, so it's going to be after the stands have either been formally introduced, like with Spice Girl, or been, you know, officially defeated, like with Notorious B.I.G. That's when we can see them showing up on the pillar.
Right.
And there's still a good number of stands to show up here. So, and there's still not a lot of room in between, you know, the enemy stands and Purple Haze. So it's like, I'm real curious to see, you know, what the hell, how they're going to be, you know, how are they going to do the placements for a lot of these stands, you know. But, you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Right.
So I'm trying to think. Is there anything that you can think of, Ryan, that we might have missed?
Well, aside from the fact that I was thrown completely off guard when Bruno snuck in another adi battle cry, you know, when they were trying to get rid of Notorious B.I.G. Honestly, I think we pretty much covered everything that needed to be covered.
Okay. Yeah. I think I mentioned, like, yeah, Bruno manages to sneak a couple of adis, you know, throughout the rest of this part. Like, you know, it's not just the one-time battle cry and that's it. He manages to sneak in a couple more. So,
right.
Yeah, so, you know. So, yeah, so, you know, you'll expect to hear a couple more even after this. But, yeah, I can't really think of anything. So yeah, so with that said, join us next week for the next episode. And, oh boy, I can't wait. I'm cautious, but I can't wait at the same time.
Same.